Hey, beautiful gods and goddesses. What up, though? Oh my god. The truth about Reiki. We are live. I'm just getting us started on Instagram too. All right. Okay, what's up, everybody? Drop your city, drop your zodiac sign. Welcome to the chat. This is what we do. Welcome. Let's see, I'm gonna give people a minute to get on before we get started. And I'm gonna pin a comment like I always do. Hey y'all, welcome. Yay. Yes. Hi everybody. Drop your city and your zodiac sign. Let us know who's here and where. This is root chakra healing. This is how we ground. Part of Reiki healing is healing the chakras. I'm gonna explain more. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat so that I know to answer them. I'm gonna tell you guys everything. Part of healing is moving in your purpose, and you have to move to do that. You can't just sit up crying about the past and wishing things were different. You have to actually move and do things differently and be proud of yourself for making it this far. Because a lot of people are not here with us, and we are honoring ourselves and honoring all of them when we move in our purpose. All right, then. In the comment, tips are appreciated. Rootchakragoddess on Cash App. Any of my old cash tags still work, you guys. I haven't gotten rid of any of them except for Arab X Goddess. I don't have that one anymore. But Heaven on Earth Reiki, Sacred Stripper, they all still work. But preferably send it to Arab. Oh my lord. Preferably send it to Rootchakragoddess from now on. Rootchakragoddess is like the embodiment of my truest essence, and it's amalgamation of all my different personalities put together. Like part of the goddess journey is going into different phases of your life, and I do my healing through my own life. So I'm going to explain to you guys now how Reiki healed me, how I used Reiki to heal myself, and how and why I channeled my own style of Reiki, 2 styles of Reiki, Heaven on Earth Reiki and Isis Reiki. And I'm going to explain the dark side of Reiki and why it's a problem. A lot of stuff that you hear today, you're not going to hear anywhere else unless you hear it from one of my students. So some sources and things, I can't give you that because I didn't read them anywhere. This is channeling. Channeling is when you download information straight from the Akashic records, straight from a certain deity or entity or being or oversoul, or just from basically the book of all that is. So the cool thing about channeling is that when you channel and then you talk about that with other people, you find that there's some commonalities and there's some things that many of us remember. So one of them for us specifically is remembering being priestesses of Isis and being in the Isis temples, as well as the Delphi, the oracles at Delphi, the Delphi temples, Pythia, and so many more. Because also the Mayan pyramids came up a lot in our Isis Reiki initiation. So, there's we are so infinite. There's no limit to where we've been and who we are. And when you start tapping into deeper energy, that's what you find. People, a lot of people, I'm all the way extra with it, you guys. There's not much I don't believe in. And I recognize my own power within that. So I don't let it make me fearful or make me feel like a victim. We have agency, and one of the strongest things you can do is transmute your sexual trauma. That's one of the reasons why I do the healing work that I do specifically for people who have survived sexual trauma, and that's because that's what I've used it for, and that's how I've healed. Because I struggled for years with a chronic illness that caused chronic pelvic pain and bladder problems, and not only that, but mental disturbances too. And the way that the medical system treats these issues is so divisive. It doesn't account for the fact that like our bodies and our minds are in the same body and our souls in there too, or it's trying to be. But for many of us, we've experienced extremely traumatic things that has made our soul jump out of our body. And so we have to do things that will restore us and return us to ourselves. And for the sex worker class of people, there's like different ways that society is structured and organized, and this all feeds into the concept of the matrix. Like there's a certain grid that society is based on. Okay. So with Reiki, the point of Reiki healing and energy healing is to restore us to the crystalline energy grid, and that's a rainbow grid that's of the earth. And so the more that we can connect to the earth, to the center of the earth, to nature, this is really important to our practice. But as we get into it, I'm going to explain how Reiki anchors in the matrix and is actually a psyops. So there's two different things that we're talking about. So we have to be mentally flexible. We're talking about Reiki, energy healing. The reason why you guys will never hear me say Reiki is a Japanese holistic healing modality that was brought to the US by Mrs. Takata and, invented by Dr. or Mr. Mikao Usui, Sensei Usui. The reason why you guys will never hear me tell that story is because that's not a part of the mythology that I teach from. I teach from my own mythology, which is ancestral to me. So the deities that I work with, the practices that I use, they're very specific and ancestral to me. And it's not really something that anybody taught me, because it's actually frowned upon and not allowed for a girl or a woman or a feminine person, whatever, me, to learn those things in my culture. Even though I have these ancestral memories and past life memories of doing that and being that. And even though if you look at my birth chart, it's spiritual worker for life and priestess is written all up in there, and sex priestess is written all up in there. Okay, I have sex priestess written all up in my birth chart. That means at a certain point in time, for example, in the Mayan times, when they structured society based on your birth chart. So at so many different times throughout history, they structured society based on your destiny. They read your destiny from you were born, and they structured you. They put you into society that way. That's that you had a place, you had a role, you had initiations along the way. A sex priestess, like imagine. I mean, it's something that like it's a concept this is honestly like I'm just now really realizing how much it's blowing my mind. What would a society look like in which we knew like this child is a gifted sex priestess and we're going to nurture her? But what they do here in this society instead is they traumatize children like that and babies like that. And in my culture specifically, there's a lot of beliefs around spirituality and spirits, and attachments and curses and how these things work. So people know what they're doing. You know, a lot of people, when they do this type of abuse, they know what they're doing. And I'm really excited to get into this topic with you guys. And now it's as heavy as it is because this is my work. Like, I'm in there. This is my work. And it's what makes me feel better, because it's a giant fuck you to this system of slavery, domination, and control. And that makes me feel great. So we know we can use Reiki to heal, and we have it in our ancestral memory. It's already in our DNA. We don't have to really learn anything. We don't have to learn how to do it. And this is why I channeled my own style of Reiki, and why more and more I want to promote the unschooling movement of Reiki, because unschooling is a thing where, like, I was interested in this when I was in high school, but I didn't get to do it. But I came close because I organized my schooling at the end of the last year, to where I had an internship and took college classes. So I didn't have to be at school most of the day. I got to do other stuff. And your Reiki practice, I want you guys to treat your Reiki practice just the same way, because, like, you know, I'm always gonna show up and talk my shit, but also, like, your best teacher is your own lived experiences, and no one can come close to giving you something that will replicate that or be better than that. And this is how any type of education is indoctrination. Like, it's like any type of, I don't want to say that because I'm a teacher, but it's like, it's so crazy, you guys. Like, oh, it's just so crazy how what I realized about the way society is structured and set up is that it's a whole caste system, and there's a certain caste system, and one of the ways that you transcend the caste system is by becoming a teacher or a doctor. Like, there's like certain professions that you can transcend the caste system within. So that's one reason why, like, it's not like it's open, but it's a reason that I see behind why so many immigrant people choose certain professions, and pick certain professions, and why certain professions are looked at as like, oh, that's a good profession, because when you go into that profession, you can transcend the caste system. So, like, teacher, even though teachers are not like known to be well paid like doctors are, teachers still a very, like, considered honorable profession to go in, but it enables you to transcend the caste system because it puts you in charge of other people. And so through that role, it's easily exploited. Like, that's a position of power and privilege that's easily exploited, because you have a pool of people that are listening to you. And in K through 12, not only that, they're forced to listen to you. They don't have a choice. You know, the people that I teach choose to be here or not. And the course has now evolved to where it's a self-initiation. So you literally, I have the words that invite your ancestors and your spirit guides to bring you your ancestral lineage of energy healing, and you can use those words or adapt them as you please, and you record it as a voice note. So it's your own voice leading you deeper into yourself, and it unlocks something, you guys. Like, when you listen to your own voice, because I know a lot of people don't like doing that because they feel like they sound too annoying. You know, just do it. Fuck it. Everybody's annoying to somebody. You guys know I'm annoying. I mean, come on. And you gotta be. And I think it's really important too. What I'm learning is that there's a certain thing as far as ownership over who you are, whose you are, and who are yours. Because when people come to you and put their trust in you to guide them spiritually, or even on a friend level, like, that is something, it is not something to take lightly. Like, when a person comes to you needing spiritual support and spiritual guidance, they are literally putting their life in your hands. This is serious. Like, I take this very seriously. It is a very much life or death. And you have to be very comfortable with yourself and how you practice. So otherwise you will not be able to continue because there's just so much external stimuli. And that's one of the reasons why I channeled my own style of Reiki, Heaven on Earth Reiki, because I realized that there was a influx of external stimuli within the practice of Reiki as I knew it. So we're talking about Reiki, like actual Reiki, energy healing. It doesn't have to be a Japanese healing modality. It's rukia in Arabic. It's a different word in another language. So, because a lot of people want to be respectful and honor other people's cultures when they're practicing different things, not knowing that this is also a psyops. And we'll talk about what a psyops is too, but this is a way to like hack people's brains to control them in a way. It's our empathy being weaponized against us. And this is the primary problem when it comes to the truth about Reiki, is that Reiki in so many ways allows for the practice of Reiki as we know it commonly in the Western pantheon culture, allows for our empathy to be weaponized against us. That's the Matrix Reiki. Okay, but we're Heaven on Earth Reiki. So we're making a distinction between the Matrix Reiki and Heaven on Earth Reiki. And Heaven on Earth Reiki is what we practice. That's why I love that there are so many Heaven on Earth Reiki healers in the chat right now, because it's not a discipline that has been imposed on y'all. I co-created it with y'all. It is because we are. So it's different. That's why, and I judged myself the entire time, you guys, because I'm like, I should have this together. I should already know what I'm teaching. Why is it changing so much? Why is things changing so much? They have changed to grow and transform, just like we do. And it's an example for me to set for y'all. Our group didn't go anywhere. We're still a group. We're still a community. We don't have to be a nonprofit or an entity to exist. We're a decentralized web of mutual support, and it's very organic. And people wish they could do this type of community organizing. People, come on, y'all. People wish they could do this, and we're just doing it. Like, because it's effort. It's easy. It's effortless because it's who we are. So that's the main thing that I want to get across with this message, is that the Heaven on Earth Reiki is extremely unique to each person that practices it. The common tenets of it are freedom from all forms of sexual and spiritual oppression. And that means total personal sovereignty, collective sovereignty, and sexual freedom. And when we say sexual freedom, that doesn't mean I get to just throw my dick around or throw my pussy at whoever. No. Because we don't play that shit. Because we have a community where people need to feel safe and comfortable and know that people aren't going to like do weird shit to them. So we set boundaries because that is what we need to do. And that's how we protect ourselves and our space. We have group agreements. Like, you can't sexually harass somebody in our group. You have to be respectful energetically. And these are things that are lessons that you have to learn. Like, you have to learn how to control your own evil eye. And most people won't tell you that. Most people will repost 100,000,000 times. Every evil eye formed against me will go blind in a very dramatic fashion. And then they end up blinding the people who they love the most, because just because someone's jealous of you doesn't mean that they don't love you. They're going through their own shit sometimes. So as we continue to progress and elevate our vibration, and continuously choose ourselves, then people are going to be mad. And we have to know how to protect our own energy from those that we love the most, whose opinions we actually really care about. And that's tea. And most people won't tell you that. But they haven't done that shadow work. so we can, a lot of times we can feel unqualified. Like that's like a huge issue, especially for women of color in any industry, and the spiritual healing arts industry, because it's like you're already such a gifted spiritual healer. You done been healed everybody that you ever fucked, or that you ever let fuck. Like you healed every client, like you healed everybody, you healed your whole family all the time, but then you still think like, I'm not good enough to charge for my services, or I don't know what I'm doing, or is this really real? Like, and we just have to like continue to grow our confidence, and we do that with each other. We need each other to do that, because as much as it would be, nice to say I don't need anybody and I self-validate and fuck everybody's opinions, I do feel better when people validate me, and I do feel shitty sometimes when people don't validate me. But at the end of the day, I tune into what is true for me. And even if I'm not getting the validation that I feel like I would want to get, or even if I feel uncomfortable or insecure, I'm still going to do what I need to do, because that's what it is. That's what it is. Like, we have to be ourselves. Even if it's embarrassing, even if it feels like we're being stupid or whatever, like, and it's my medicine to give that. So people that access me end up being able to do like this stuff for themselves easier, and it doesn't have to look the same. Like, you don't have to go testify or spill tea or tell the thing or whatever, but what is your soul calling you to do? Because for a lot of us, we're dealing with like major solar plexus blockages that come from fear, and that's generational fear. That's why we've been healing the mother wound for so long, because that's what it's passed down through the mother wound. And it's just like sitting on our solar plexus, like telling us you're not safe being who you are, so you have to diminish yourself to be safe. But then you're even more vulnerable that way, because you're disconnected from your truth, and that means you're out of body, and anything can happen to you when you're out of body. And we have to be real enough and love each other enough to like see, like, okay, I can see why this person is reacting like this, and I'm not going to take it personally, because I love myself and you enough to not do that. And most people are not real enough to do that. You got to know, like, literally the majority of humanity is not, I am sorry to say, you guys, like, they are not on the internet trying to better themselves. So, you know, um, I think you can rest assured that you're not a harmful person. You're not a bad person. But we all hurt people sometimes. We all have the ability to hurt people. And what I've seen is that the more like we try to not hurt people and do things that we think are going to like make us be less harmful to other people or whatever, like that are not in our nature, it ends up getting even worse. Shit just goes all the way left, and it's not good. And so you have to act in your true nature and accept that. And you can't be like begging anybody to accept that, because fuck them. So fuck them indeed. And but it's okay to like want to come to understanding and so like a mutual space of support with people. But ultimately, like, it takes time to develop those relationships. And I think that the unique thing about the people that I work with and why they have such good results, like why you guys have such good results working with me, is because you genuinely are hopeful that you can have what you want. Like, you genuinely believe in yourself, and you're excited to do things that you want to do, and you believe in the possibility that, like, or like shy, like, but I would say, like, you believe in me. You believe in me, but really, that's tea. Like, and it's so vulnerable for me to say that, but like, and that's why in one of my recent videos I was saying like, the healer needs the ones that come to the healer to be healed, and actually the ones that come to the healer to be healed are the real healers. And I think that's why I moved so quickly into teaching after offering my services and doing that for a couple of years, because I just seen how like everybody that was coming to me, like they were ready to learn, and and they trusted me already. And that's a good feeling when like other people have painted you just to be like this fucking villain. They're like, oh, like I'm just showing up authentically, and people really trust me to support them, and I'm here putting in that work with people as a partner on their spiritual journey, and this feels right. And I've definitely fought against it a lot because it felt like, but sex work is easier and I make more money. But is it really? It's not ever easy to do something that's not in your divine path, but it's always easy to do what's in your divine path. And sometimes that changes, because our path is long, it's winding, and it takes time to get from one end to the other. And I would think like this ain't real, or I was still dealing with like all this internalized things, or like because like if bad things were happening, I would be like, it's because of spirit work, but like bad things would happen either way. Like, and at least now I have agency and control, and I can when I say control, I use that word loosely because I know that I'm in charge of my reality. And um like sometimes we think that we don't have control, but there's a part of us that is in control, and it just wants to sabotage us. So it's just a everyday thing. And I think the most important thing is just letting yourself feel your emotions, and nobody can tell you what to feel or how to feel, and nobody can tell you what you feel. You have to figure that out for yourself. But yeah, you guys put trust in me, and that makes me continuously want to be better and do better and improve my craft. And it's really easy because it's so easy for me and it comes so naturally for me. It's really easy for me to slack off. It's really easy for me to slack off. And then too, because I reject so much of the culture of like working hard, and I feel so much like mad about times where I was encouraged to be an overachiever, to gain love and shit like that. So the thing is that if I take that out on my life, I'm the only one that pays. And the best thing for me to do is to just do really what I want to do, and stay true to that and be committed to that. And I'm gonna go through and answer you guys' questions and stuff at a certain point, so keep them coming. um so I'm learning better how to commit, how to communicate, how to be in my life, because nobody ever prepared me for this, because nobody ever wanted me to live this, because it's threatening to the status quo that has made them comfortable. And a lot of people see people that are spiritual practitioners going through stuff like major illnesses or life upheavals and stuff, and they think like, if you're a psychic, why aren't you rich? Why didn't you see that thing coming? Or why do you have problems? You should be able to do magic. And I don't, they would be like, I don't trust this person because they must not know what they're talking about. But in reality, though, some of us are healing things that are deeply, deeply rooted, and they may have been suppressed for a long time. They didn't go anywhere. So maybe the poverty trauma was suppressed by a good job and a car and a house, but the poverty trauma was still there. So it actually has to be felt and experienced to be released. In my experience, the refugee trauma, you thought, okay, because we finally lived in a house for this many years or whatever, we bought a house and we didn't get kicked out from it, we've healed the refugee trauma. But no, the refugee trauma is actually still there. And that those traumas, the poverty trauma, the refugee trauma, these things are easily exploited through the fear that is still locked in the body. Through these traumas, they can get you to do anything. They can get people to do anything. Not you guys, not us, but you know what I'm saying? Like, fear is an extremely great motivator. And again, we're talking about the difference between the crystalline earth grid that is natural to us, that our energy naturally flows through, and in this grid we don't have to work hard, we just live our purpose, and we are able to survive easily and have everything we need and want to fulfill that purpose, because we're flowing with the currency of the energy of our own bodies, the energy currents and the water currents. But on the matrix grid, our electrical and aquatic energy is exploited and it's used, it's milked basically. So our fear is exploited, and it's all these physiological responses, you guys, like everything from like the diet that we eat to like the images that we're shown on the screen to the chemicals that are used for cleaning and all these different things, like they're very specifically orchestrated to create a certain physiological response. The same with the medical system and how medicine works, and surgical practices and all these things. Like it's very much by design. So I feel like everybody that's been here knows this and is pretty secure with this information, but for a lot of people, they're not secure with that information. They might joke about it and it might think, you know, it might seem okay, but they're really not secure with that information. And so it's one of the reasons why so many of us are called to be spirit guides and leaders, because even if you don't consider yourself that way or think like you're not like going to be, you know, sitting up on a pulpit and preaching at people or something, but you're still going to like have your people that are relying on you and depending on you for support and guidance as their entire way of life and like existence breaks down. So for those of you who you have people in your life that, you know, are with this and on the same page with this and support, it's really important to lean on those relationships, and let yourself have that, and just let people support you, because that's one of the biggest problems within our community, is that people are too scared to let others support them. Because when you've been experiencing sexual abuse and, you know, exploitation of your energy from a young age, then it's really hard to let other people love you and let other people support you and just like let yourself break down and be in that comfort space with other people. For a lot of people in our community, it's a lot easier to give that to other people. And that's one of the other main problems with Reiki, is that people go into it as a career thinking like this will be a great way for me to work because I love to help people, I'm so good at it and blah blah blah. But what is not realized until later is that it's often a trauma response, and is that really sustainable? And then with your revolutionary practice, it's they like this matrix wants us beautiful women of color, people of color, and you know, all the beautiful people, the sexual healers, the creative, spiritually gifted artists. They want us to do service oriented work, that where we're serving others, because that it keeps us in the slave class. And like I was talking about, this caste system, that you can transcend the caste system by becoming a teacher or becoming a speaker, a leader, doctor. So they like for us to be in positions of servitude. And there's a really big difference between serving others, like serving others in the sake of humanity and for the love of humanity and the love of yourself, versus being a servant, and having that forced upon you to survive. And the concept of serving others is completely like jeopardized in this system. So what I found is that, okay, I'm really good at giving love and support to others. to the point that I shouldn't really just do it just for free, because then people think that that's what I'm there for, and I'm so good at it that there's no possible way that they could be as good at it as me. So, but there are people that can be as good at taking care of you as you are at taking care of them. It's just letting ourselves receive that love. And it's really hard to let ourselves do that if we're in a position of like continuously staying in those cycles of overgiving and thinking that we're going to receive back from it, but then we never can receive enough, because you can never get back what you've lost. And when you've overgiven of your energy, it's not coming back from anywhere. You have to call the energy back to you. You have to sit and wait for it to come back. You have to do things that restore you and replenish you. And a lot of us, when we need those things the most, is when it's the hardest for us to do them. So when we need the rest the most is when we start overworking ourselves the most. And you just got to be patient with yourself and notice these signs. And you guys have seen me. I've been doing this work for years. I've been through the most with it. I learned my lessons and I'm here to teach them to you. And again, like, the best way I teach is just through these conversations, literally. And that's why I will never stop showing up for them. I've thought so many times, like, I need to pull back or da 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 or whatever. No, because I don't like that. It doesn't make me feel good. I like expressing myself. That's what makes me feel better. And when I look at my human design chart, it's because I'm a manifester and I'm an emotional whatever. I'm an emotional manifester. I manifest from verbalizing my emotions. I can make things happen just by talking about them. That's why it's good to have a conversation with me if you're trying to make something happen, because just by us talking about it, that gives it so much air and so much firepower. So, had I not continued to practice Reiki, even when I was confused about what was going on, and literally I got a reading and the reader told me, you should not do Reiki and you should not work with sex workers. And sometimes those readings come through just to clarify, like, that you're gonna do what the fuck you want to do no matter what anybody says. If I hadn't done that, there's no way I would have come to the realizations that I've come to, and it just makes no sense, but again, it's like, it's part of developing your discernment, and that's a huge important lesson that we learn. And that's why I tell you guys, like, I teach for a reason, and I make these materials available for people to study for a reason, because you can't rely on anybody else but yourself to do this for yourself. At certain points, you definitely need trusted advisors and teachers and guides. And then at other points, they're not available for you no matter how much you feel like you need them. And it's because it's the point in which you develop more discernment and self-reliance and security. And that opens up your solar plexus to be more of yourself, and it roots you down in more of your grounded reality. And that opens up space in your sacral chakra for you to experience more pleasure. So literally, like, some things that probably the majority of my clients and students deal with, chronic illness, chronic pain, chronic pelvic pain, chronic bladder issues, urinary issues, sexual issues like hypersexuality, lack of sex drive, shallow orgasms, numb vagina or numb parts of your body, creative blocks, family concerns, abuse, knowing something happened that fucked them up but not knowing what it was, experiences with sex work, or like some type of attraction to sex work, or some experiences with it, or someone that they love experienced with it, or something like that. Gifted and talented in school, either gifted and talented or special ed, immigrants, experiencing like being part of different cultures, or like feeling like they don't belong with their people, or you know, like being someone who's used to exploring other people's communities too and not feeling like they belong there, or like whatever experiences you have, basically in general, like feeling like you don't belong here. And it's because you're a star seed. It's because you're a star seed, because you aren't from here, but you were born here and you do belong here, you know, and you're here to make of yourself what you want yourself to be. Because you think about it, you chose your face, like you chose your features, you chose your parents. You were an angel baby floating on a cloud and looked down and you was like, that's for me. And you came here to heal something, and you came here to do something in this world that is bigger than you, and that is every single one of you. You have a connection to something that is greater than yourself, and it makes you greater than what you've ever thought you could be, or what anyone ever expected you to be or told you could be. Because do you guys remember ever being a kid and people being like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if, you know, a little girl was like, I want to be the president of the United States, that was like, hee, it's so cute, ha ha ha, no, it'll never happen. But we love that she dreams big, hee, ha ha. Yeah, fuck that shit, because in what world is the president of the United States the best thing that anybody could think of to be, you know? And it just goes to show how much our imagination has been stifled from the get-go. And that's why I say, like, I don't want to teach you guys how to do Reiki. I just want to hold the space open for you to channel what you already know and get support in utilizing it. One of the hardest things for us to do with our Reiki practice is to let go of the energy. It's really easy for us to suck up the energy, clean the energy from others, clear the energy, and make it feel better for everyone else, but then we're bogged down with the energy. And that's, you know, my next point about the truth about Reiki is, why do so many Reiki healers have continue to deal with extremely pervasive chronic illness, and end up, so many Reiki healers end up dying from cancer, or from you know, an aneurysm, or a tumor, or some type of illness like that? Why are the people that are credited with inventing Reiki, they all have died under mysterious circumstances, suicide, or nobody knows what? So you got to look into that. There's a storyline about healers that is told to disenfranchise healers. It's the Jesus complex. It's that you'll spend your whole life healing others, and then they'll persecute you until you die, and you'll die penniless, sick, and alone, with no one to care for you. And you did all this for everybody else, but you get nothing in return. And that's a bold-faced fucking lie. That ain't it. That ain't it. And that's why we've done work to release the Martyrdom complex. I have my video deleting the Martyrdom complex on Patreon. And yes, cancel that shit. No, because these pervasive stories, and I don't feel a way about saying them, because I'm not manifesting that. I'm talking about what's real. So a lot of people, you know, it's okay. We get like scared, and we don't want to. Ew, we don't want that. No, but I'm I'm not manifesting that. I know what I'm manifesting. I'm in control of my life. I'm in charge of what I do and what I say. And if I'm not, then it's because I'm possessed by a demon. So send help. Give me an exorcism. Don't judge me. Just love me. Like, damn. And this is why I don't believe in putting people on pedestals, because just because I'm your Reiki teacher doesn't mean that I can't get caught up out here in these spiritual streets and have fucked up shit happen. And I'm releasing shit that's gone wrong in my life. So it's like, I was stunned and shocked when I started getting into the energy healing and really seeing what was in there, that like most people have literally thousands on, if not tens of hundreds of thousands of entity attachments. I mean, and you don't understand that they don't take up space the way we take up space. Like in one small room, there could be like 9 billion entities or spirits. So yes, they're always passing through us and all around us all the time. And when they settle in and get comfy, they're not fucking going anywhere until you make them. And they'll be so settled in to where you think that that's a part of you, or that's an aspect of your personality, or you just have multiple personalities. No, it's an entity attachment. So again, why we need community, because we need to be able to recognize when this is happening. Because if you don't know somebody, you don't know when they're not being themselves. And that's why we have to let ourselves be known also, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even when it's embarrassing. I'm not going to stop saying that it's embarrassing, because you guys don't even understand how much I've embarrassed, like how embarrassed I've been. Like how much I've been so embarrassed so much just to live my fucking purpose and just to be myself. So yeah. Yeah, you're not manifesting when you talk about what's real, but you can, in the same sentence as what you're saying, what the shit is, what they're actually trying to do is what this is what we're really doing. Because at other times in history and herstory, when people knew to revere healers and they knew that we were important and not just a fucking trash can for society's shame and dysfunction to be dumped into, you know, we still have that memory, and we have a lot of fear and angst and anxiety and anger and pain and trauma that's covering it. So it's really important for us to transmute that and to have these spaces. And I've judged myself so much for like being too much of a downer, or always wanted to talk about dark shit and stuff, but it's just who I am, so I accept it. I have no reason not to accept myself. I can either die or accept myself. I'm gonna die either way, so I might as well have fun and pop this pussy in the meantime. you gotta do what you love and love what you do. So okay, so now I'm gonna explain. So now that we've gotten into all of that, I'm gonna explain what I'm offering to help with it and support, and then I'm gonna get into y'all's questions and comments. So like I was saying before, I have co-created these offerings with my community of healers who are the Heaven on Earth Reiki healers, who came to me, my clients, my students, my followers, people that are here that I've connected with. And it's not just us, like there's a huge web of other spiritual workers and guides and supporters and our families and our loved ones and even our haters that have converged to make this all possible. So I worked so hard all of last year on creating the Heaven on Earth Reiki 1 and 2 manual that is a self-initiating course. And the reason why I wanted it to be self-initiating, not just because of the things that I've talked about here, where it's really important for you to have that spiritual sovereignty and not have an intermediary. It's you and you between you. But also because so many people in our community, like, they can't ask for help. It's too scary to show up to a class with other people. And then they're too traumatized by education or living up to expectations in the past. So they really need that space to just be self-directed. And one of the things that I'm going to be adding to the course, because right now it's just like a manual, a course manual, but I'm going to be adding video components for each of the modules, so that you'll also be able to just listen to me read the the manual contents to make it easier. And I think it really helps. I noticed that it's something about showing up face to face. Like, it gives a sense of comfort. Like, you're talking to a real person. You're not alone. Like, I don't know what it is. I've had times where I didn't feel like showing up, or I felt like I look fucking ugly, or I don't want to, look at any type of way. I just, whatever. So, like, I I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. Like, I'm gonna show up, and know that it's for the best. And so I will be adding that to make it more accessible and increase the level of support. And everybody that's already downloaded it, you'll get that too. Like, every time I add something new, I always share it with all the previous students. So don't worry, you guys. But we will also be having group classes like once in a while. So if that's something that's really important for you, then don't worry, you'll be able to get that too. And then you always have the Heaven on Earth app, our private social network. So you can join in there. Everybody's in there. People are very heartfelt and, humble, not shitty people. They're awesome people. And then what I love about it too is that there was even like one person had put up a post and didn't get any response, and then they came back and they were like, thanks a lot, you guys, you made me feel really alone. My so-called community doesn't even give a fuck. And then we were able to like let them know, like, hey, we see you, you're not alone. It's just I had too much going on, I couldn't respond. But the fact that, like, that's a big deal. The fact that someone will even feel safe enough in a space like that to say that that's how they feel, instead of just being like, fuck you guys, I'm out. That's just a testimony to the kind of community that we've created. Because people share things with us in our group that are extremely hard to talk about. And a lot of times people will come to me privately and tell me like what's been going on with them. And I'll always encourage you guys to share it with the app, because the reason why is because I know other people going through literally the same thing. And I want you guys to find each other and connect with each other. But sometimes I make connections too, but sometimes I'm not gonna be weird. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be weird. But I really want you guys to like be open to finding each other, because you can make friends, and cool people and good business contacts. Okay, so there's that. So when you do your Reiki initiation, your self initiation, that's Reiki 1 and 2, and that's what like a lot of you guys you have done, or you're about to do the Reiki 1 and 2 initiation for Heaven on Earth Reiki. Some of you guys have also received Isis Reiki. If you got initiated in 2020 in the one-on-one initiations, you got the Isis Reiki initiation and the Heaven on Earth Reiki initiation. And now I do them separately. So the Isis Reiki initiation is like an astral journey where you meet some of your spirit guides, some of your ancestors, and you see some sacred places that are sacred to you that you can journey to in the astral realm. And then after you've done Heaven on Earth Reiki 1 and 2 and or Isis Reiki 1, it's just one Isis Reiki. But after you've done Isis Reiki, you can do the Heaven on Earth Reiki Mothership, and that means becoming a Heaven on Earth Reiki Mother. So that means that you're supported in channeling your own style of Reiki, because actually a lot of our healers, they begin channeling their Reiki style like sometimes before they even come to me. But they just didn't really know what it was, or they needed more support to fully birth it out of them. So when you become a Heaven on Earth Reiki Mother, you can do Isis Reiki initiations, you can do Heaven on Earth Reiki initiations. But again, like the Heaven on Earth Reiki initiation is a self-initiation, and it's really cool. And you can do that. You can guide people through the self-initiation too. And it's actually really cool because the first time I did it, I was like, okay, I was experimenting to see how it was going to work and to see how it's literally just about holding the space. It's just about holding the space open. So I'm a conduit for holding that space open and creating that space that light can enter. And because it's protected and it's like secure, So again, this is part of my destiny. There's no certification, there's no qualification that means more than your destiny. and you have to know what that destiny is for you, but you're always qualified to do your destiny. Like, yes, I'm Reiki certified. I'm certified as a Reiki master. Yes, I've studied with these different teachers, and I've gone through these different initiations, and I've studied these different classes, and read these different books. And also, none of that matters more than that this is also my destiny. So in the Heaven on Earth Reiki Mother Initiation, I support y'all in using some of the most primal, natural healing techniques that will come forth. And they're different for everybody, but there's a few ones that typically tend to come out for most of our healers. And I just support you in making that ascension to the next level of ownership over your gifts. People get a lot of confidence and feel like more themselves and able to set boundaries more, and just more like in tune and self-protective when they've been too giving of their gifts, or let people take advantage. It kind of graduates you from being the maiden, like the silly hee young girl / whatever, to being the mother who is more serious and is not about the games or the jokes, and who has something to protect and is really solid in that knowing. So the other ways to work with me, besides going through the Heaven on Earth Reiki and Isis Reiki initiations, are to do a one-on-one consultation. And in the consultation, we just talk, and it's about whatever you want to talk about. I might do some Reiki, I might pull some cards, but it's mostly for you to get things off of your chest, because you guys are used to seeing me talk at you on here, but in our consultations and our one-on-one sessions, you talk to me. And then I just hold space and I tell you whatever's coming up. And I'm channeling, and it's intuitively guided. So it's better than just talking to your homegirl, unless your homegirl's a psychic too. But nothing against your homegirl. I'm just saying that, like, sometimes we want things from our loved ones that they're not qualified to provide. And I am qualified to provide you with spiritual guidance and insight on a lot of things that you're dealing with that other people around you might not be able to. I also do one-on-one energy healing sessions. Right now I have the High Priestess session, the Rapid Shadow Integration session, and the Empress session. These are all energy healing sessions. And you can find out more about them on the website, which is rootchakragoddess.love. And I'm also going to be offering more one-on-one longer term things, like 6 weeks, 6 months, and ways that you can work with me that way. So I recommend anybody that wants to work with me, period, to go through the Heaven on Earth Reiki initiation and receive these initiations, because they're going to benefit you so much. And then also, like, the consultations and the ongoing work is going to benefit you too. You can book a consultation at any time, but I'm going to be offering packages again where if you work with me consistently, then you'll be able to save money and I'll be able to support you more. And it'll be great because, like, it's a deeper level of commitment to yourself. It's one thing to try something one time, and definitely guarantee I go hard for you guys no matter how long we work together or what we're doing. So it's going to help no matter what, but there's nothing like committing to yourself. And one of the things that I'm doing now is committing to myself in a deeper way. If you guys have seen, like, some of the ways that my work has evolved, you can already see this. So I've been committing to a lot of things professionally and publicly, but there's also certain commitments that I've made privately, personally, that have to do with my inner life, and with my, like, close inner circle. And these are extremely important changes that I had to make so that I could sustain my work, my life's work as a healer and as a spiritual guide, as a mentor, as a leader, as an artist, as a writer, as a human being, not a human doing. You know, I don't want it if I can't take a nap in the middle of it. And now I'll go through and check out you guys' comments and questions. Wow, there's a lot of them. I love you guys. Thank you. All right. So you were featured on John Oliver. Yes. It wasn't me being featured. It was the person that was testifying sitting next to me, because they had us testify two at a time. So there were two chairs, two mics, and we would go up there two at a time. And so he spoke first, and then I spoke. And so when you guys saw the end of the clip that I posted with me, when the I don't know the correct title, but the man that was like presiding over the House of Representatives people, he asked a question at the end of my testimony, but the question wasn't directed at me. It was directed at the gentleman sitting next to me, and I was hella salty because I'm like, I have something important to say too. But that's so cool. But yeah, it was really interesting too, because I had been invited on another HBO show and I couldn't go. And then like the next day they emailed me about that, and they asked me if it was okay if I to show my face or not. And I was like, yes, of course. But it just showed me with the whole HBO thing, like it showed me that I have to get a lot more comfortable with what I'm doing, because I'm doing this for a reason. Like I did want to be seen. That's why I testified. That's why I was okay with being on the news, you know. And there's things that I've had to give up since then. Like I don't feel as comfortable doing sex work anymore because I'm afraid that somebody's going to do something weird to me or try to hurt me. And the reality is that they might do that anyways, even if they don't know that I'm an outspoken hoe or that I am outspoken for hoes, you know. So it's just a continuous journey, deeper and deeper, of getting more closer with myself, and that necessitates showing up and teaching you guys about Reiki, the truth about Reiki and what I know about Reiki, because I know a lot of Reiki healers, and I have to say these things for us. There's so much that I haven't even gone into, and I'm not going to be on here much longer because I plan to keep it at an hour, and we're just a little over. Y'all know I could talk all day, but I'll come back with a part 2, because I didn't even scratch the surface of the truth about Reiki and the ways that this feeds into psyops and conspiracies that are strengthening and enforcing the matrix. But I'm going to at least go through the questions before I get off. All right. So yes, we have a Capricorn in Detroit. Hi, sending you love. Thank you. I've been wanting to learn about Reiki for the longest time. You're in the right place. Hi, Tucson Aries. So cute with the little devil smiley emoji. I went to Delphi and felt the strongest connection. I got chills when you mentioned it. Mashallah. Hi. We got a Capricorn in DFW. That's my home base, or whatever, home state. And we got a Scorpio in DFW. Okay, Dallas Fort Worth, come through. I was born in the Dallas Fort Worth area, in case you guys didn't know. I'm a Texas shorty. We got a Capricorn in Sacramento. We got a Aquarius in New Orleans. And Scorpio. Yes. Thank you so much, universe, for sharing with me at this time. You are always going to be right on time with me. And I had a client yesterday who it was so cool, because it was such a beautiful, the timing of it was just so beautiful, because what I had just been going through was something that I could uniquely help her with. I've just cleared and healed my issues with chronic illness in a major way, and it'll never be the same. And she came to me right at the right time, and she said, I've been following you for 2 years, and you just don't know. She said, I read and listen to and look at everything you put out. Everything. She's like, I'm shy, and so I don't say anything, but I look at, listen to, and read everything you put out. And I love it all. And I've been wanting to talk to you for so long. And when you put that sale up, because I had put my services on sale, she's like, I knew it was time. And so she signed up for that, and she booked it a month in advance. And she was like, you know, on your website it says that the work starts immediately as soon as you book, and it was so true. Things just started shifting and changing a lot for her, and then you know, she also downloaded the Reiki course too, and so it's just so great. And she also said that she she thought, okay, now that it's a self-paced course, I can do this because I didn't want to fall behind or like try it when I didn't have enough time to commit to it. And so it's just like, see, everything is right on time. You know, when she was ready, the course was ready for her. And when she was ready, the sale was there for her. Like, you know, so I don't want you guys to ever worry or stress out, or feel like you're missing out on something if you can't do this right now, because there's like I'm not going to stop providing free support. It's not about the money. Like, it's obviously I need to live and support myself, but I used to take it really personally when I would get comments from people that were like trying to say like, "Oh, I can't believe you're using sex workers to sell this, or using survivors to sell this, or using, you know, exploiting people this way or whatever." And I was like, "I'm not doing that. I just want to help." But like, it's like they don't know me. They don't know me, and I'm going to keep offering more services. I'm going to keep promoting my business. I'm going to keep showing up and teaching people how the ways that things I do that they can pay me for can help, because this is me claiming my life, and this is what is here for me now. I can sit up here and wish that all that shit never happened, but it did. And it happened, So because it happened, I'm equipped. And I take this garbage and turn it into gold every day of my life, and I am here for it, for all of us. I want to see you win, and I can help you do the same thing. And I'm so serious about it. And I will go hard for any and everybody. So I've fucking gone hard for any and everybody my entire life. So yes, my clients and my students and my supporters that come to me and pay me, and I get to live my life because of y'all. You best believe I'm going hard in the pain for y'all. And I won't stop. And I won't stop. And I will keep doing what I do. And this is my life now. This is what I do every day. I get up, I light candles, I say prayers, I pull cards, I tune into energies, I hit the streets and do Reiki. I do Reiki on the streets. I do Reiki on the people on the streets. I got strangers in the streets laying hands on me to heal me and giving more of a care about my spiritual well-being than some people that I've known my entire life, because they know how and those other people don't. And I'm in the streets laying hands on people and casting demons out of people and casting illness out of people on the street. So no, it's not about the money. It's about the life. This is my life. And one of the reasons why all right, I don't want to finish that sentence. Let's go back to the questions. We got a Gemini in LA. What up, Gemini? I do a Reiki method called Quantum Touch. That's so cool. And yeah, you guys, there's so many different styles of Reiki. And that's why I channeled my own style of Reiki, because I can, and other people have too. And I just find it funny how so many people that would show respect to Holy Fire Reiki or the Resilience method or another style of Reiki would try to disrespect me and my style of Reiki as if it wasn't nothing, because it focused on sex, sexuality, sex workers, and survivors of sexual assault. But we're the real healers. We've always been the ones. And we deserve it. And then they're like, oh, she's just a hoe, or she's, because I'm not an elderly white person, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. You have to find your own authentic way with things. Right. Right, indeed. I started Reiki without knowing what I was really doing once and started my research. I found a practice that looked similar to what I was doing, but once I started adapting from it, I got stuck. Okay. You can do it. Keep going. Try our Reiki. Try Heaven on Earth Reiki. It'll get you unstuck, I promise. I found out that Reiki was actually communicating to the body to heal itself. Yes! That part. Yeah, it's inward. It's such an internal practice. Okay, sparkles. Love this. I love it. Happy face and kissy face. I'm learning about these boundaries and intellectual consent because I feel mined sometimes. Yeah, we're being mined right now, like on socials. It's happening all the time. Wow, going all the way off. I wonder what I was saying. I feel like you're speaking to my soul right now. Flame emojis. Yes, I done heal everybody. We have to be our own healers. That's right. I want to meet you. You might get a chance. Anything can happen to you out of body. Yes. Yeah, and you're not there. So part of you just really doesn't care what happened either. And then that means that you could do stuff to other people and not really care what you're doing to them. I think there's a lot of people who need your message. And I know that, and that's why I've been doing work to become more comfortable getting visible and showing up and not being so shy or scared. Because I know that the safer I feel and the more supported I feel and the more structure I have around me, then it'll be easier to show up and let more people hear my message. But I've been starting with you guys because this is where I feel safe. And so I really thank you for helping create this safe space. We believe in you too. I believe in you too. My heart is so full right now. It's like it feels like it's bursting. I came across you when I wanted to connect with my aunt who passed away. Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people come to me when they're healing from grief and finding ways to let go. And that's a whole nother thing that I got to talk to you guys about too. So I just have so much to share. So I'm not going to stop going live with you guys anytime soon. But what I'm doing is I'm paywalling some of the content, like the new moon group healings, healing sexual shame, and different topics that we talk about. They're going to be in my Patreon or in different downloads that you can get. So that's just exclusive content. And because some of the stuff is like, it's too hot for TV, like we can't really talk about it on here. We need private space to talk about it. I wonder, since you go by the name Root Chakra Goddess, are you Scorpio? Was it my tattoo that gave it away? But I'm a Scorpio rising. I'm a Gemini sun, Capricorn Moon, Scorpio rising, Scorpio Mars, Scorpio Saturn. So you already know, like, and I'm Scorpio Saturn and Scorpio Mars in the 12th house. And that's past lives. So you already know, like, I've been doing this. Me, 100%. Have you ever felt energy of a client lingering in your energy body after a session? Yeah, definitely. And it takes learning how to clear that, and just continuing to work, because you think that and you did everything, but then you still find ways that some things can be really sneaky. Like energy can be really sneaky, so you just want to continuously like work on that, and get better and better at that. But yeah, it can definitely happen. And that goes for energy healing clients and sex work clients. Ruby, I get that too. I have a singing bowl in my work bag to get it off of me. I love that. That is such a great idea. Interesting. I will try that too. Thank you. I love smoke cleansing too, even if it's just going outside for a smoke and visualizing it all, attaching to the smoke and blowing out and far away. That's great. I have a friend who does service for service. He does craniosacral therapy, and he usually cleanses me of this unwanted lingering energies. You guys, I just got craniosacral therapy this past week, and I had a whole exorcism. I'm gonna tell you guys more about it, and I'll speak about it more in Patreon about the healing sexual shame aspect, and that's the high priestess tier. So on Patreon there's the hermit tier, and that's only $1, and that's like tons and tons of live streams and exclusive content and all different types of stuff. And then the high priestess tier is 55, and that is in-depth energy cleansings and meditations and like support, going really deep into these topics. And that's the stuff that's too hot for TV. The stuff that I really can't talk about publicly here, I'll talk about on there. Wait, what's your moon sign? It's Capricorn Moon. Capricorn Moon, Gemini Sun, and Scorpio Rising. You have just written me down to a T. So that was when I was describing a lot of common similarities that my clients and students and people that are drawn to me have. We are here to experience life, that part. Yes, say that. The Tesla complex. Exactly. Like he literally, that story, and they tell us those stories to indoctrinate us to believe that that's what will happen to us too. A lot of people I helped had an entity named Lilith attached to them. Okay. Same, my girl. I'd be cringing at myself. That's when I said that sometimes it's embarrassing. Yeah, so what? Fuck them. Fuck it. I love you guys. Is it better to book a healing session first before the self-directed studying? I think it's a great idea to do both. Yeah, I would definitely, if you can, I would definitely do that. And you can look and see what the different sessions that I have to offer are, because there's a consultation. So if you're not really sure, and if you have a lot of stuff you need to talk about and get off your chest, consultation first. But if you know that you're like, okay, I'm ready to start healing and I'm ready to start exploring some of this stuff, start with the Reiki classes. And I recommend everybody to get a healing session with me too before you start with the studying. But if there's any type of financial obstacle, just do what works best for you. And we offer the Reiki course, the Heaven on Earth Reiki 1 and 2 course on a sliding scale. So if you're low income, you can take 33% off the cost. And the coupon code is in the description. I've met my totem spirit self, which is a wolf in a lucid dream. I met my spirit guide flying over me the entire dream, which is an owl. Beautiful. And that's one thing I want to mention to you guys is that accessibility is really important here. So we have offerings at all different price points, and the energy healing sessions cost more because what I'm doing is a lot of work. Oh, and I like doing it. I'm not complaining at all. I love doing this stuff. So it's just worth it's worth the cost. Is what I'm saying. Have you ever attended a rainbow gathering? Is that like a rave? I'm not sure. Um, Hello. Hearts, miss seeing you. Hi. All right, you guys. I think this is getting close to the end. A Sagittarius in Glasgow, a Libra in Austin, a Gemini in Manchester, England, a Scorpio in Amsterdam. What's up, y'all? Amen. Ashe, mashallah. Ooh, finish the sentence. Maybe later. All right. Wow. Do you ever save your lives? This is the first I've ever caught, and I feel so seen and heard. I save a lot of my lives, but some of them I don't. And the ones that I don't, I'll either post on the app, the Heaven on Earth app, or I'll post on Patreon. And then I also have a YouTube too. I'm streaming to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook with this broadcast, and that's what I do sometimes. Sometimes I just go on Instagram. And I used to go live with you guys all the time just to kick back and chill. Now, when I do that, I'm going to do it on the app. So when you see these lives, they're going to be more professional content. A rainbow gathering is like a world gathering of alternative healers coming together. Sounds cool. I would be into that. And let me see what we have over here on Facebook. That is so true. Cancel that shit. That's not mine. That's right. Hearts faces and cutie faces and heart eyes. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I only went 20 minutes over my intended time limit, so that's pretty good because I could sit here and talk at you all day. I'd love to go to a party in a forest or desert. Please invite me and any sponsors out there. Holler at your girl. Love you guys lots, and I'll see you next time. Much love, healers, gods, goddesses, deities, genderless aliens, and all my outlaws. Much love to all of y'all. Peace.